and white goes bishop g5. Very good. This is a very interesting and playable opening. It is equally good with the London, bishop f4. One may have them both in his repertoire. And once again, as expected, black has several ways to play. He can start with this move, for example. This is the hardcore way of playing, even against the London or against the torre. One may say that this and some correct theory after that, some accurate theory, may even theoretically be the best for black. But guess what happens if you play strictly the best moves all the time? You get a very equal position and very high probability of a draw. And for sure, with black, then it's very difficult to win. So this d5 is not the proposed move. The proposed move is to play c5 again. An interesting approach is to even start with this move, h6, and after the possible move bishop h4, to play c5 now. Now, that's a different approach. I suggest, just like in the London, c5 and capture on d4 immediately, e3. And now, don't forget that we need to capture on d4. In this particular position, let's say if the bishop is here, b6 is again inaccurate in the London for a different reason. We need to take on d4. But here, after e3, b6 is a famous inaccuracy that many grandmasters have committed. I also had a game like this with the white pieces, and I got a huge grandmaster against very strong grandmaster Guseinov, who nevertheless managed to make a draw with black. So b6 is a move to avoid. This is an instructive mistake, which has been famously committed 2 times by Karpov. So who knows, who remembers what is the theory here? So first, we start with what we must not play. b6, very good, some players know it. This is the game Yusupov-Karpov, 1989 candidates. Karpov in 1989 has a rating of 2755, if you can imagine. If we adjust it to today, it's maybe a little bit more than 3,000. So, and yet he played b6. d5 was the move, and white is immediately better. After e takes d5, white played accurately with knight c3, bishop e7, and this is the correct move order. And after here, white has a very nice strategical way to play. He takes with a bishop on f6, and he plays c3, very inspired play and very easy play for a grandmaster of the level of Artur Yusupov. White has a clear advantage, and of course Yusupov is a very, very good player. Not even Karpov was able to survive here in this passive and very bad position for black. So this is something to avoid. I have collected another game. This is the game Kamsky-Karpov. I am showing you these games to remove the mistake from your mind. This is a Blitz game played in 2008 between Gata Kamsky and Karpov. Kamsky played here, c5, so far so good, and after e3, Karpov again, for a third time, committed this mistake with b6. White played d5 again. There is some theory here which has a meaning only if you want to play this position with white. With black, we don't want to know how exactly we are losing. It's enough that we know that we are losing, or that we are worse. And after h6, this time by Karpov, he takes here, and typically knight c3, white has good control of the center. He is much better, and he won the game later, I would say, without much difficulty. So here, let's check. He took on e6, and he played this nice little move, forcing black to take on d5. And after knight takes d5, Again, Kamsky had a classical advantage, a so-called classical advantage, and at this level, with Kamsky also being a super grandmaster, it is almost impossible to save the game here with black. Very good. So this is something that we will not do. Let's go and check this bleach game, but official bleach game between the Indian super grandmaster Pentala Hari Krishna and myself. So bishop g5, I played this, e3, and we must take immediately, and e takes d4. Once again, just like in the London, if knight takes, in the London with the bishop here, e5 was winning, and here this move is also winning, collecting the bishop on the next move. So after c d4, e takes d4. Now, listen, please. You can find, as I write in the comments, you can find this game if you are interested in YouTube, because the last minutes of this not so good level bleach game, the last minutes where somebody was recording with camera. This was played in 2014, and you can see the last moves of this game. So this is just a bleach game. Initially, I got a very good position with black, and then because it's a bleach game, I blundered and I had a completely lost position. And then Hari Krishna blundered again, even worse than me, and I even managed to win the game. So I played bishop e7 here, and he played bishop d3. The same setup, just like in the London, will be used here. Are there any differences? There are differences. First of all, the bishop on g5 is not the same as having the bishop on f4. The general ideas are the same, but some moves can be different and some plans can change. And additionally, with the bishop on g5, as we will see, white has some extra plans, which are totally different than the London. So let's see what happened. I played b6, regular stuff. He played queen e2 and bishop b7 and knight bd2. So far, so good. Nothing much is happening. I played a6, c3, and d6. Logical moves, and nothing much is happening. Castles, knight bd7. So the plan is pretty much the same. White played a4, I castled, and now white has one basic plan. How would we describe white's plan here? It goes as follows. White must maneuver his pieces without a very clear plan, hoping to find a good moment to attack. This is his plan. And what is black's idea? The same. Additionally, black may hope to play b5 at some moment. So he played rook e1. I believe you can guess what I played here. What do you think black should play? We are not done yet with the housekeeping of our position. First, I played not queen c7, but rook e8. This move is necessary for various reasons. To protect this bishop, like if we move with a queen, some knight e4 move can be dangerous with the bishop hanging on e7. So one reason for this rook e8 is to protect the bishop. Another reason is to play e5 maybe at a good moment against his king, especially with a bishop here. e5 can be very powerful. And a third reason is to open, we move the rook and we open this f8 square, which can be used either for our bishop followed by g6, bishop g7, or of course, if necessary, for our knight. So rook e8 is a multi-purpose move that needs to be played. White played bishop h4. He doesn't have a clear plan. Yes, maybe he wants to play knight g5 at any moment, and we are now out of book. I played queen c8. Remember, I see the pawn on a4. I play queen c8, right? Queen c8, intending to play this without blundering my a6 pawn, and queen b7. Hari Krishna continued with knight g5. I look around to save any tactics, to spot any tactics. I played here bishop f8, protecting everything, and he played knight c4. let's clarify something, please. At this point, let's suppose that this is here. Look, I play a random move, or this move, and this is here. Now, choose, please, a move between G6 and H6. I cannot even say it. Choose a move between G6 and H6 here. They both appear to be good. So the move is G6, of course, after which nothing much is happening. And if we play H6, I have seen this mistake in practice. If we play H6, what is happening? Are we slightly worse? In fact, we are checkmated in 2 moves. This is checkmate in 2 moves. You see, I have seen players blundering this bishop h4 checkmate and crying. So don't get checkmated like this. Play g6. Very good. After that, we are standing perfectly. For example, he goes here. We can capture this knight. I cannot play this because he will take, but I can play bishop to e7, right? Bishop back to e7 with a totally acceptable game. Very good. So let's see what happened in this game. After bishop h4, I played queen c8. And here we are out of books. 2 experienced good grandmaster. Hari Krishna has the rating of 2726 when this game was played. And I had a rating of 2643. So 2 experienced grandmasters, and yet the game is out of book very early. Why? Because this is the nature of the chosen variation. So he played knight c4, I played g6, protecting everything, bishop g3, I played queen c6, threatening checkmate in 1 move. I do not expect to be so lucky. He played knight e3. Black has a very decent game. I went back to c7. For the moment, this plan is not in the agenda. However, I may have other ideas. I may play here. This is, I know very well, a game with waiting tactics. He played h3, and I played bishop h6. We are moving up and down. He plays this, and I go back to g7 this time, now that I remove the pressure from d6. So you see, this is how we are supposed to play. Very flexible game. At some moment, I may play e5. I need to watch out for bishop c4. Maybe I kick him out, he goes to f3, and then I play e5, and we have a fine game. Very good. So he played knight g4, and I played knight h5. I should have played this move, after which black is better. White cannot take on f6 because I will take with my bishop. And he cannot go here because I will take it and I will win a piece. So after h6, which I failed to find in a bleach game, here and knight h5, I'm threatening this annoying knight f4 move, and his bishop is stuck on h4. If it goes to g3, I will take it. And black now is better. I'm threatening knight f4. If he goes away, I can take this knight on f3. And I always have these ideas in my mind, or maybe even f5 and e5. I am at least slightly better. However, it didn't happen. I played knight h5 immediately, and he played queen d2, and he played bishop e4. I went back to c7. So I have a good game here, and what I'm describing you is this is how we are supposed to play. Yes, keeping the tension, play up and down. So both players are up to the task. They play in the correct style. If they ask how should white play in these positions, move his pieces up and down. In the London with the same setup, again, move the pieces up and down. Who will win, white or black? The one who will maneuver the best, the one who will find the chance to outplay his opponent. So very good. And here he took on b7, he played knight e4, and knight h6 check. I missed this check. This is very powerful. And now he's better. He got a winning position after some moves. And later he blundered something, and I managed to win the game. Save. Okay, let us now check another interesting and instructive game. What if it has same strategies or similar strategies with the London on e6 on d6? The answer is very simple, even better. You will understand very well what is happening when you are watching the games and when you are playing games yourself. So let's check this game between two young Greek players. We are talking about this variation and immediately taking on d4, both in the torre and in the London. I play c5 and I take on d4 immediately. He takes it and I see his bishop there. Yes, b6 was played. Let's better be a little bit more careful and play this move, bishop e7. Is something wrong after b6? No, not really. Maybe he can play this. It doesn't really work. The computer says black is doing very well here. But anyway, let's not risk it. You see a bishop on g5. Let's play bishop e7. b6 was played and bishop b7 and bishop e7. Let's see. He castles. Let's postpone castling for a while. He castled. I would have played d6 here, intending knight b d7. Let's check. He castled. Queen e2. Once again, we know that if he goes c4, we will play d5. If he goes c3, we will play d6. And now c4, now d5. Very good. So, for example, c4, d5, he goes here. I will capture on c4. And in this position, I would have played knight to c6. Now that we have the chance, let's better put this knight on c6. And we have a classical isolated pawn position. For example, knight b4. Very good. So let's see how these players played. Queen e2 and finally d6. Here, a6. It's not really necessary to play e6 now. We can play here and we are certainly not afraid of this move. If he goes here, we will happily capture it because black generally has no objection to change pieces. For example, here I would even play this move, queen c8. So generally we are not afraid of bishop a6. He played a6 and knight b d7 and rook e8. Very good. Using the perfect setup, a3 was just an inspiration over the board. How should black continue here, please? Who will tell us? What do you think? We hesitate between queen c7 and b5. I think after b5, maybe white can play c3, intending a4 or a4 immediately. Queen c8 was played. So queen c7 is good enough. Okay, queen c8 is also acceptable. Usually we play queen c8 when white's pawn is here, but this is also not bad. So a good position for black, and white played knight d2. Yes, he must maneuver. This is one thing, but maneuvering skillfully is another. So bishop f8 is playable. Queen f1 a little bit passive, and bishop c6. One of our ideas with the queen on c8 is this, intending either queen b7 or b5. Here, threatening left and right, and knight takes e4. Another totally acceptable move is which one, please? Who will suggest another totally acceptable move for black? Bishop takes e4, yes, or which other move? Or bishop e7, protecting everything. And if he takes here, of course, we take with the knight, with a very good game for black. Let's see how they played. Takes, queen b7. Should we take on e4 now? No, absolutely not. He will have the pair of bishops. Queen b7 is better. c3 and b5, typical ideas. I am a little bit annoyed because our pieces cannot go to f6, cannot use the f6 square. So here maybe a better solution, instead of taking on e4, you see when we take on e4, we cannot really move our pieces on the king side. So that's why maybe putting the bishop here is a bit better, as it seems. Okay. c3, b5, and rook a to c8, and rook a to d1, logical stuff. He played bishop here. You see, we cannot really touch the queen side. A playable move is this. The idea of this move is to protect d6 so that we can play here again and start maneuvering our pieces. This position is dynamic equality. I would say in a practical sense, maybe black is a bit better. So g6 finally was played, and bishop g7, queen h4, but there does not seem to be an attack. Let's see, but black moves back. Black has two plans. Either he will go for a5 and b4, or he will go for e5. Here, after 94, now d5, I don't really want to play d5. Here, knight f6, I don't really like that. No, I don't really like that. Here, white will have attacking chances. Let's not play d5. Let's see what happened. a5 takes, 94, and queen b6. What if d5? We already know the answer. We have seen several similar positions. We will play this. And let's see how they played. Bishop d2, slow maneuvering game. Finally d5. And b4, because the d4 pawn is hanging and black is taking over now. Takes. Here. b3 is interesting. Black's idea after b3 is to do this and here. So black is now better. He has a very safe king. He is better. He managed to put a knight on c4 and to have an advantage. And later, he won a very nice game. Typically with maneuvering up and down. Let us now check another game, which I have played 13 years ago in 2011. This is a bleach game again. Yes, I have the black pieces. My rating at that time was 3002 because I was very powerful. No, this is a bleach game played in play chess, this old chess site. So here and knight f3. My opponent's nickname is Tiger Lilov. So I played e6, he played bishop g5. Let's check this very instructive game. When we are studying chess games, either here during courses or when you are at home and study games, it doesn't matter who played the game, who had white pieces, who had the black pieces, what is his rating. It doesn't matter. If it is a bleach game, it doesn't matter. What matters is if it is a high quality game or not. Usually when the ratings are high, the players will play a good game, but this is not the rule. What matters is for the game to be of high level and to be instructive. Very often, let me repeat that if you study all the time games by Carlsen and Anand and Nakamura, these games will not really help you because these players do not make the mistakes that we want to see, you want to see, in order to avoid them or to take advantage of them and improve and win games. These players will never commit these mistakes. Much lower rated players will commit such mistakes, and we must benefit by studying their games. So here we go. c5, e3, takes, and bishop e7, knight bd2, and d6. Very often in the past, I would enter as a guest in various sites to play bleach games with guests. And the only reason for that, there was only one reason. The only reason for that is that typically they would be comparatively weak players, and I could easily employ the winning strategies and later use them as instructive material for the students. That was the reason. So let's check now. Bishop d3, a good idea in the torre. Remember, in these lines of the torre, a good idea is to play d6 and connect the two knights, the two horses, as early as possible. If I were today, I would have played this move, knight bd7. So anyway, a6 was played, c3, b6. No, black should have played knight bd7. What is the reason for that? We will see after knight bd7, we remove one interesting possibility for white. He played queen d2. Finally, I played knight bd7. Let's see. He castles and bishop b7. Can white castle long? Of course he can. That's a legal move. But it seems that black is doing really great. This move is coming. Here, some knight d5 ideas later. And bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, threatening this, threatening some sacrifices with a rook on c8. So we have very good counterplay. Let's see, he castles short. I have seen long castling, short castling, and even this move. But as we have already explained, this king f1 move, which looks more like a mouse slip, white is bringing all his forces for an attack, but his king is comparatively weak, and we may play for e5 here or for this play with b5, and white may claim to have some kind of attack, but we are very solid on the king side, for example, here, and after h6, we play g6. We are protecting everything here, and long term, imagine if the position opens up, white's king will feel very unsafe on f1. So we have good counterplay without really doing anything. White gave us this counterplay by playing king f1 and h4 and whatever. So let's see what happened. Rook a to e1 by Tiger Lilov, and black castles, and I have a very satisfactory game. h3. If he goes, please give me the answer. What to play after knight e4, c4, a4. Knight e4, c4. No, just a second. Here, what to play after knight e4, c4, a4. Who has understood for good what to play after knight e4, after c4, and after a4? After knight e4, obviously we will capture it either with a knight or even with a bishop. After a4, we will play queen c8, and after c4, we will play d5. You got it. Very good. If he plays such a move, look, knight f2, nothing much is happening. Look, a non-standard move. How to punish non-standard moves? By doing some magical trick? No, by playing standard moves. I will consider this for a while, e5, now that he has abandoned the center, but in fact, I prefer to play this queen c7. Next move will be b5. And white went f4, but there is not really any real attack after f4. And if there is no attack, this means that automatically a move like f4 backfires. In the long run, white, now there is no turning back when you play f4. White will have problem with his own king, with his own weaknesses. I played bishop f8. I could have played also b5, I guess. I played bishop f8, and knight g4 was played, and I took on g4, queen takes, and I played g6. Generally, if I manage to just hold the position without blundering anything, I will be automatically better. White played here, and bishop g7. I already like this position very, very much for black. White played knight f3, and I played b5. Little by little, my plan might be, now that there is active play and active counterplay, it can be this and b4. Maybe even b4 immediately, and if c4, I take the knight on f3 and I take on b4. Or imagine b4 immediately, c takes b4, queen b6, threatening very fast play. So when and if we feel that our opponent is attacking, like he's trying to do active things, we may start playing more active counterplay with a b4 immediately. So he played a3. I played queen b6. Should I play this move now? The answer is no. I need this knight for the defense. It can go here or here at a good moment. I should not go so far away, abandoning the king side completely. So I played queen b6. The idea of queen b6 is to protect this pawn and play a5. Also, I am keeping an eye on his king. I may play such a move or maybe even such a move at some moment. Very good. White played here and a5. Black needs to do something to act fast. If they would ask what is the evaluation of this position, in my view, black is clearly better. White played here, understandably trying to do something. Now the knight goes to f6 and b4. b4 is good because white cannot play c4. So bishop f2 was played. I played knight d5, threatening on f4 here, and I take on a3. He takes it, and queen c7. I'm provoking c4. He plays c4. I go back, but white is now over-expanded left and right. So bishop h4 again. I play here. Knight h5, threatening to take on f3 maybe and take on d4. Here, bishop a8. That's a clever, flexible move. My plan is sometimes I can do this and in the complications. And of course, I want to do this. I want to go here and start annoying white from this side. So white played g4, which is apparently a risky move. I played knight f6 and bishop g3, rook b8. White is trying to attack against a very well protected king. He played this and rook b3. There is good compensation. There is good attack, I mean. f5 was played, and this is a mistake. I open up the position as best as I can. He is threatening there. I play f5. And because he has played all these moves g4 and he has some attack, but his king is also very weak. So here, and c takes d4. I open up the center. There are no direct threats. There is no turning back. And I had the pleasure of executing this move and playing knight f6. Now I have exchanged many pieces. There is no attack by white. And white resigned here because if he takes with the bishop, I will collect this pawn. Very good. Finally, this long diagonal has brought the destruction. Very good. Let's check another very instructive game in a slightly different theme, in a slightly different version. So let's check it. I have the black pieces again, c5 here. If he plays any other move like this one, for example, I will take here. And now we can play, for example, d5. Yes, this has nothing to do with a torre system or a Cole system or a London system. In these systems, there is a pawn on e4, on d4. Yes. Now black has very good play, for example, after such a move, or after, let's say, simple development. Yes. White should not have a knight on d4, but a pawn on d4. That's why after c5 they play e3. I capture immediately, bishop e7, and let's be a little bit flexible, b6. Another move that makes a lot of sense is to play d6 and quickly defend the knight on f6. Remember this little trick. It also makes sense. We will see later why. So I played b6 and bishop b7 and d6. We feel that with the bishop on g5, there are some different dynamics. It's not the same like with the bishop on f4. It is, though, similar. So he castles and knight bd7. He plays here, a6, or I could have castled here and castles. I really like black's position. Sometimes the computer, in this or in this position, it may give something like plus 0, 30, or 35. When you let it think for too long, this evaluation drops. And no matter what, if you ask it to move and prove us the advantage, it plays quiet moves like h3 and bishop g3 and such moves, moving the pieces up and down and claiming that white is slightly better, but without creating even the slightest threat. So white played this move, rook a to d1, rook e8 has to be played, and bishop b1. This plan is totally ineffective against the London. I played queen c7. b5 is in fact a very good move as well. And if a4, I will happily take it, and I will keep this little pawn. I very much like to have doubled weak extra pawns. So instead of b5, I played queen c7, which is also acceptable and good. White played queen d3. For the moment, he is not threatening anything because the knights are protecting each other. I played b5, which is one move not to play, please. One move that is strategically risky and bad. Who remembers? Which move? Yes, of course, d5 is a bad move, but I'm not talking about d5 now. Some other delicate mistake by black, which is some delicate mistake. Very good. The delicate mistake is this move, h6. This move should be played only if several pieces have been exchanged, for example, the light square bishops with each other, and there is no threat on h7 or anything else. Look, here now, I can never get to play g6 again. If I play here, he takes and he loses. So now my position is a bit sensitive. I can play here, but this square is also not good. He may take on e6, for example. He may have such tricks. So it's better to avoid it. And of course, I didn't play this move. I played b5. I could have also played g6. And now we are done with all these threats. I played b5. He took here. I take with the knight. He played this and g6. And black stands very well. Now let's see what happened in this game. Knight e4. I take it. He takes it. And rook a to c8 here. And look what I did now. I played this move. There was an even better move. Bishop takes e4 was an even better move, as you will see, very instructive, with a huge advantage for black, as you will see. You will see it because I did it on the next move. I played queen b6. He played f4. What should we say about this move f4? This is a big mistake. You cannot attack just like that because you decided it one fine morning. The position should also allow it. So after this f4, look at this move, please. Bishop takes e4, very powerful move. I could have even played it on the previous move. He takes it, d5, he goes back, and wherever he goes, look at his bishop. His bishop is very passive, and I strike with b4 with a huge advantage. I should have done that even earlier. Look, I should have not given him the chance. Here I should take it and not give him a chance and play d5 and strike with b4. What is going to happen here? I will tell you. Black will most certainly win the d4 pawn after a few moves. More certainly. What is the biggest problem for white? There are several problems. d4 is extremely weak. And what else is the problem? Who can describe, who can locate another problem for white? One problem is very clear. The pawn on d4 is weak. And indeed, bravo to all of you. His problem is this bishop on b1, which is not doing absolutely anything. White would very much prefer to have a knight on f3, for example, instead of this bishop, or even this bishop here. At least this bishop is defending, and maybe it can play on the dark squares. So how should black continue here, please? This has not, first of all, in a standard game, we calculate this, of course, but queen d3, I do not see a win after this. So how should black play? Black has a very powerful move that is begging to be played. Let's see. I see two suggested moves and I like them both. Very good. One move, queen f4, is very clever, provoking maybe some g3 or something. But yes, I agree. But the officially good move, officially strategically good move, is, of course, bishop f8, this move. Why? Because our bishop clearly belongs to g7 to start attacking this pawn on d4. This position is not at all equal, and the presence of opposite color bishops makes it easier for black. We are happy to see this bishop and less happy to see this bishop or this, because now we are still better, but white is defending here. Tough game, but not with his light square bishop. After this, we will play such moves here, bishop g7, and soon he will collapse. Very good. In my game, I was even luckier, let's say, because after queen b6, he played f4, and this f4 is even more weak. I don't hesitate a second to capture here and play d5 and play b4. White took here, and I played rook c2 to threaten as many pawns as possible. He played here. His only chance is maybe to do something active with sacrifices, but if I manage to defend, it's game over. I will start collapse. I will start collecting whatever is in dark squares, b2, b4, d4, possibly even f4. He played this. I was mentally and in a chess sense prepared to face it. I played e5. Of course, my plan is not to take on d4, even if my rook was not hanging. My plan is to push e4. He played here, I played e4 with a completely winning position. King g7, I'm not in a hurry to collect pawns. His biggest problem is that this bishop on g4 continues to be very bad. I played here, queen d6, I'm threatening checkmate in one move. He preferred to save the bishop and I gave checkmate. If he would go here, then rook h4 is winning immediately. For example, after this, I can take with a queen. Very good. That was a very high level game, which gives us the idea that if we are left even in such a position with opposite color bishops and continue our minority attack with b4, we are clearly better, strategically winning. Save. Okay. Very good. Let's check now another game. It's this one. This is how we learn the torre. So here, c5. We take immediately, and bishop e7. c3, b6 is good, and d6 is good. This is also quite good. Here, and bishop b7, and d6. If you would ask me, which opening do you prefer to face as black? Which is less good for white in these positions? I would say the London is more annoying with the bishop on f4. I would say the bishop, in other words, stands better on f4 than on g5. Better for white. So he castles knight bd7. Do not lose the chance to connect the two knights together. Never in the opening. Knight bd7. This is protecting us from various mistakes. Rook here. What should I play automatically after such a move, please? What do we play automatically? We play almost always the move a6. We play a6. Yes? If I play such a move, this is coming. And now, look, we are paralyzed. So the move is a6. Very good. a6. And when he goes a4, a5, we may consider pushing b5 most likely, or even taking it. Let's see what happened. Rook e1, we castle. Here, another knight e4 game. Now look at this, please. Queen takes. Sometimes we can take on c3. Look here. And if he takes the queen to take on d1 and try to win material in total chaotic situations. This way of playing is quite dangerous, however, because quite often he can play this move. Now we cannot take here because he will give this check and his queen is not hanging anymore. Our queen is still hanging. So after taking and check, we must possibly play here, and now there is total chaos. My advice is to avoid such a variation, or if you are a very good player, calculate it. Yes. Takes. I prefer to simply take on e7 because we anyway have a good position. He took here, we exchange it, we play knight f6 and queen b7. Please pay attention. Our plan is usually to play b5. What is wrong with b5 now? That's a very deep question. Our plan is to play b5 in these positions. We all know it. But I played queen b7 first. What is wrong with this move b5? Who will help us? Calculation is required as always. Here, black and white must calculate at least 3 or 4 moves in a row to decide. So I will tell you what is wrong with b5. First, without moving the pieces. If we play b5, white will play d5. We have just started. It's not the end of the variation. d5 for white. We cannot take knight takes d5 because of queen takes d5. So after b5 and d5, how will black continue most likely? We won't allow him to take us on to capture on e6 because then our e6 and d6 pawns will be hanging all the time. So we play b5. I claim that this is a mistake. He will play d5. And how should we continue theoretically after a d5 move by white? We must continue with e5. So far, so good. If I could leave this position just like that, black stands perfectly. However, the calculation continues. After e5, he may play knight d4, intending to go to c6, maybe even to f5, but preferably to c6. Or after knight d4, can we just capture on d5? What do you think? Maybe we can capture on d5. So the whole story is pointless, and we can play b5. Let's check. b5, d5, e5, knight d4, knight takes d5. This is what we say, calculation at the service of strategy. Very good. We already have one correct answer. So I need a second one. Very good. So this move is a mistake. This move is a mistake because he will play here. Of course, I cannot take it. Queen takes. I must play this. He will go knight d4, intending to either take or go to c6. And if we take here, now, not this move, because we go queen e6, he tries to play tough, but we take here. So after this and taking, he will play this move, knight here. And then queen e6, all good so far, if it weren't for this move and black resigns. This means that b5, you see, that's why quite often you see grandmasters in supposedly simple positions. They are thinking and thinking for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, and you are wondering why. What the hell is he doing, thinking for so many minutes in this simplified position? This is what he's thinking. He's searching for ideas for both sides, and behind the simple-looking moves, sometimes quite often there is good calculation that is hiding. That's why I played queen b7. By the way, what we are witnessing here is a 1-minute game. An experienced player like I am, imagine about the better players than me, can see this variation in about 1.5 seconds. So if we are concentrated, queen c2, b5, rook there, and rook f to c8. This is what I played then in 2013. The way I see the board now, I would have played the other rook a to c8. Anyway, here, and some little moves left and right. And here, this is most welcomed. He takes with the queen, which is a further mistake. I take the queen, I happily play d5, and g6, just to be done with all the tactics. And now b4 with a big advantage. Here, rook b8 and bc3 and check. And I win a pawn. I took here. By the way, if he plays this move, we capture the pawn. And yes, here we can play rook a3, which is also winning. But even such a move is winning because according to the theory of the endgames, rook and two connected passed pawns are always winning, almost always winning against the rook and one pawn. Very good. So this is how this game was played. And I collected this pawn and I won the endgame very easily. Okay, let's check now another game. Let's check this game between two superstars, Artemiev and Carlsen. Let's check. d4, knight f6, e6. And here, Carlsen, instead of c5, played h6 first move. This move has advantages and disadvantages. First of all, after this h6 and c5 now, there are some ideas that do not work for white anymore, some gambits with d5. On the other hand, when we play h6, we already know that in some cases, this h6 will long-term tend to be bad. That's the problem with h6. So here, he takes it, and he goes here. Already, to my eye, doesn't look so good to have the pawn on h6. It looks a little bit like less good. So b6, let's check. Bishop here, and d6, and knight bd7. Don't forget, after d6, to connect the knights with knight bd7. Connecting the knights is very good. He played here, castles, a4. Of course, Carlsen played a6, and queen e2. Now there is another possible idea after this queen e2. He played knight h5. So for this reason, h6 is good. However, white is not forced to play here. He can play other moves as well. So here, this tends to be good because we like to exchange pieces. And bishop e4, he exchanges, he goes back. And b5, typical stuff. What is Carlsen doing? Playing some accurate moves and many typical moves. So here he takes it, and knight here, you see, no big surprises. Not at all any surprises. And queen b7, he knows very well the typical ideas. He knows a lot of chess positions, and he almost never blunders tactically or strategically. Almost never. He played this, which is an interesting, very interesting move, causing some weaknesses, threatening some checkmates. And here he's very slightly better, but this is not enough. The game naturally was a draw. Here, yes, very well played by both players. Let's check now another good game. Just a second. Aren't there any other possibilities for white? There are two more. We will cover them. And besides that, without these two more possibilities, white can only play bad moves here. For example, if he plays such a move, yes, this is a worse version of our line. For example, we play here. How to punish this variation? You cannot punish it by playing the same moves. Let's say a6, b6, and here, look, I'm not doing anything strange. I'm developing the pieces, and now this knight will most likely prove to be badly placed. If white plays c3, this is a very rare move, especially in the torre. We will take it and queen b6, most likely. That's the answer. It's a really very rare move. So let's see now. Rook c1, intending bishop b1 and queen c2. This battery never works. So here, rook e8 is good. We are not under threat yet. He castles a6, and h4 is just too much. I would have played g6 here. Rook c8, b5, and bishop f8. I would have played g6. He takes here, and g4. Yes, this is typical impatient play because this is a bleach game, and such actions do not really work. Finally, black played g6, and now black has a winning position. Let's say a much better position, because this knight can go to f4. He played h6, which is not really necessary. He can play maybe even here, and at some moment to play this move, e5. h6 is not really necessary, but it's playable. So some good moves to defend, and now the queen will appear on g4, because whoever plays h4 and g4, he must be ready to play with a weak king himself. And after this, he won the game. Okay. Here, he could have played this. In this bleach game, save, yes. Okay. Here is one game by famous grandmaster Kazimjanov, and you will notice in this game, in this rapid game, a strange mistake. White has a rating in this game of 2460 approximately, and Kazimjanov with the black pieces has a rating of close to 2700. So after c5, e3 was played, takes, Kazimjanov plays here. A bit more careful is bishop e7, but there is no punishment of this move b6. Bishop here, and bishop e7. Let's check, castles here, d6. He takes here. This is a playable move. Bishop takes, and bishop e4. Now, I don't like at all Kazimjanov's choice. He played d5. On one hand, with this move, he can keep the pair of bishops. On the other hand, the pair of bishops is not an advantage after that. So, which is the correct move? In my view, he has to play here. Queen c7. Maybe even taking on e4 is interesting, but queen c7 is more logical. We are not afraid of this. In this particular position, we can even collect this pawn and also collect this pawn. But theoretically, we can even play here with a good version of the Najdorf, because we will develop the pieces and we will play, of course, g6, bishop g7, and f5 at a good moment. Very good. So here we see this game. We are studying this game because I am surprised by this strange mistake here, and knight c6 and c3. I still prefer now white's position. although black has the pair of bishops. He played g6, but queen e2, white can set up a good control. He played knight e5. Indeed, this is a good move. h4 is also a good move. And I don't really like black's position. The fact that he has the pair of bishops is only helping him not to be much worse. White played knight e5, which is also a good move, and knight e7. If he takes on e5, then here, and after this move, how to continue with white, please? What do you think? Let's see, how should white continue? Bishop e4 or some other move? There is absolutely no question. The correct move is this. To close, block the position first. Now white has a good bishop on d3 defending, although at some moment we may even put it here and exchange it. And black is typically hitting on his own pawn on d4. So this is not the right way to play. But anyway, black has a passive position. He must have regretted this strategy to play d5. This is a strange mistake. We should not do it. a4 and a5. Yes, this is also interesting by white. And even a6 here is very interesting. a6. He played here. He is not in a hurry. So anyway, some moves. In the end, black managed to win, but this was only because white has made some mistakes. Now this f6 is good, and he starts controlling the situation. So, and this is only a rapid game. So we understand that we must not play d6 to d5. It is a very rare occasion. Very rarely this can be good. Here is another game for black, which I thought I should add it, although it's not exactly the proposed repertoire, but it's a very similar one. This is the game between Buckley with a rating of 2342, that's the name of the white player, and Keith Arkell, a very well-known grandmaster with the black pieces with a rating of 2500. Let's see how black played here. After this, he played c5 and he captured, just like the proposed good repertoire. Let's play bishop e7 just to be sure. And here he castled. I would say this short castling is maybe a little bit premature. He should have played d6 or b6. Anyway, he castled. He played b6. And look what happened here. He played bishop a6. The system with bishop a6, it's a good and playable one against both the London and the torre. On one hand, when we put the bishop here, we are happy whenever he goes knight e4 and we exchange all the pieces. So we can here pretty much force the exchange of the light square bishops. On one hand, this is good. On the other hand, our knight on a6 is temporarily misplaced, but this is a totally acceptable and playable system. You can use it even after a different move order. You can play here, and after, let's say, bishop here, you can play bishop a6. Yes, this is also totally acceptable and good, bishop a6. What if he plays here? If he plays here, we will castle, and we all know the next move. How should black continue here, please? Of course, he will play d5, and at some moment he will take on c4. Very good. So another nice little system is b6 and bishop a6. It is playable both in the London and in the torre system. But I chose to comment on this system. So bishop a6, however, was played in this game. And after taking, knight takes c3, and knight c7 we play usually. This is a more or less equal game. black plays a6 and b5, white needs to be careful. At some moment, white needs to capture this knight. The correct way of playing is to capture this knight. He should not leave too many knights for black. So here, h6 and knight d5. This bishop g3 is a mistake. This bishop is misplaced now on g3. Anyway, they played such moves, d6, and little by little, black is taking over. Black has reached a position like we want it. Yes. So here, knight b6 is good, forcing white to clarify the situation. And then he exchanges. Black is putting pressure. And later, black is taking over now because there are weaknesses left and right. And later, black managed to win the game, for example, here. Yes, after several moves, of course. He found a way to enter. And now the c3 and d4 pawns are weak. He played here. Yes, back and forth. This is how you can win, by playing back and forth. There is no easier way. Bishop here. Another idea that black always had in his mind is to put this pawn here. But because he can also put the bishop on h4, he postponed this idea of fixing the structure. So this is how you win such a game. Black is better, but he's not winning by force. You need to play many, many moves again and again. Keep the pressure until the opponent collapses. Very good. In the end, black managed to win, so you can have a look at this system as well. One last game, which I like very much, and it's this one. Again, with opposite color bishops. We have already seen an example like this. So bishop here, I repeat that in this position, this move is also entirely playable. Bishop a6. So here you may play both systems. Knight bd2 and castles. Queen d3, there is no checkmate yet. And a6, no checkmate yet. Knight takes. And g6, we know this stuff by now. Bishop g7, very good position. h6. And bishop takes, once again, a similar strategy. d5 here. And you can guess black's move now. What should black play here, please? We are already accustomed with this position. There is something which I really don't like so much, because I like perfection. I would rather have this pawn here, even more solid. Black must, of course, play b5. He played here, but soon b5 is coming. b5 intending b4. Indeed, a very fast b4, and now we want to take on c3, and imagine taking on c3, this c3 will be eternally weak, and even if white manages to push it on c4, then dc4, bishop c4, the d4 pawn will be eternally weak, and most likely it will drop. So here, that's why white sacrificed. White sacrificed in this fast control game. White sacrificed because he understood that with natural moves, he will be in trouble. That's why I would, on the other hand, prefer this pawn to be here on h7. Okay, he sacrificed, but obviously there is not enough compensation. Some accurate moves and some accurate checkmate. Very good. Now, let's explain something else, please. So let's see. d4, knight f6. Here, e6, bishop g5. Here, takes, bishop e7, knight bd2, let's say, or bishop d3, or any other move. Look at this, please. White has a very interesting idea at his disposal. This is, in fact, the line that I suggest with white in my previous studies with modern chess. in the proposed torre repertoire. I have even seen it a few months later written in a book by somebody, exactly my analysis, but that's another story. So even the comments are very similar. So he didn't even bother to put his own comments. Okay, so what is another very interesting system? This is what I call the Miladinovic system, because my old friend Igor Miladinovic from Serbia, who used to live in Greece for several years and even playing for the national team of Greece in the past, and he would always play such positions coming from the Trombovsky opening. He was very often using another very interesting system for white, which is particularly dangerous. He would take on f6, at which moment, at a good moment when he felt that we may want to do this, or we play this, threatening to play knight bd7 and connect the knights to each other. After such a move, that's the last moment. White must definitely take on f6. So let's say he takes at this moment. Now look what is happening. Bishop takes and white plays here. White now has a very healthy setup. And what is his plan? Let's suppose we castle, which is premature and dangerous. His plan is to play queen e2 and castle long. This plan of playing queen e2 and castle long is effective only if we eliminate his knight on f6, because this knight on f6 can always jump to d5 and it causes problems of tactical nature. That's why it is important to take on f6, queen there. Let's suppose we play such a move and he castles long. White has very interesting attacking chances now. Look, there is no knight to go to d5 and cause problems. If here, of course, he will play this. And even if we manage, for the moment we are describing the bad news, even if we manage to play b4, in worst case, he can push c4. And of course, on the other side, he has attacking chances with this move, and very often with this sacrifice and knight g5 check, very often. So we cannot just play a game of chess against this system. We must know what we are doing. But first, in order to know what we are doing, we need to know what we are facing. So here are some 2 or 3 good games for white to start with in what I call the Miladinovic attack. I gave this definition because I have seen my old friend playing this system. We even have a game with each other, which I managed to win, and we will study that one too. So c3, bishop here. No, let's check how they played in this game. This is the game between Miladinovic with the white pieces and Popov with the black pieces. There are several players with this name. Popov is one of them. White has a rating of 25-35, Miladinovic, and black has a rating of 24-50. So bishop here, d6, and before connecting the knights with knight bd7, he takes on f6. This is an interesting system for white. Why? Because it leads to more active positions. And because white must know black must know one thing. We must know one thing here. We must not castle very early. If they ask what is the correct way to play against the Miladinovic attack, to either try to avoid it with a very fast d6 knight bd7, but it's not always in our hands. White can possibly get in this system. And so what's the way to play against it? We postpone castling for as long as possible. Let's see what happened in this game. h4 here. Now white played a4, expanding from both sides. It's maybe a bit too much. He should have castled long here. What should black do instead? He should postpone castling for as long as possible. He must play here and here and b5 and rook c8 and knight d5. And now these ideas do not really have a target. By the way, we can play here and we are threatening both this move and this move. Rook takes c3. Okay, so let's check how this game was played. a6, h4. a4. White is expanding very much, and he wants to play here. But we said this is a mistake. Well, with this bishop on f6, this in the Miladinovich system, this king f1 is an acceptable move. So black played bishop e7. This is correct. And knight e4 is very interesting also to exchange the knight on f6. White is not afraid of this move because he will proudly go back somewhere here, and this is not a position we want to have. So after this, h6 was played, and queen c7. I believe black must play knight f6. King f1, the king is quite safe on f1. He played this, which is a mistake. According to the computer, knight f6 is good, and even this is very double-edged, risky, but playable. So he played here. White brought all of his forces, and with he managed to make one strong attack, some strong attack later, and he managed to win the game. Let us now see some even more clear performance in this Miladinovich system. So here it is. Let's check this game between two young Greek players with a rating. One has a rating about 2000 and the other one 2100. Let's check this game, how we lost with black. Let's see. Takes, b6. Here, bishop d3, bishop e7. And by the way, if this h6 move, imagine this h6 was played a lot earlier. With this h6 move, white would have played bishop h4, maybe many moves later. Around this point, white will again take on f6. This h6 extra tempo for black is maybe even dangerous if he castles short, and h4 and g4 and g5 are coming. So compared to a regular position, black has won the move h6, but I'm not sure at all that this is to his advantage. So let's check what happened here. Bishop e7 and c3, castles, and he takes on f6. Already, castling by black is maybe slightly inaccurate. But previously, you wouldn't comment on that, Mr. Ioannis. You would say, just postpone. Now we are learning it step by step. So castling is maybe a little bit premature. We should better prefer to play d6, intending to play knight bd7. If we manage to play knight bd7, then the Miladinovich line does not exist at all. White must take on f6 before we are able to take back with a knight. So this is last chance to take on f6. Let's see what happened. He castles, bishop takes f6, and queen e2. The computer will generally give good evaluations for black here. But practically, we go beyond that, of course. I can see, due to experience, I can see the board, and I can understand how a player would feel over the board, not how a computer would feel. So d6, white castles long, and he has good attacking chances. e5 was played, but this will not help. This opening of the center doesn't help. Opening of the center helps when we have castled short and we have played g4 and h4. Here, the opening of the center doesn't weaken white's king, yes? So white plays here, he has very active play, and h4, very powerful attack. This bishop may target here, or it may target this point. For the moment, there was no such a move. So black played here, and g4, the attack plays itself. Let's see this well-played game. h5 is very powerful, because if g5, white can play this and go to f5 with a strategically winning game. After this h5, black played here, and white takes, and check. This is winning by force. Black should have taken with the h pawn, but after g5, or maybe even knight fg5, hoping to get the queen, the white king queen from e2 to h2, for example, White is in black is in big trouble. Okay. So in the game, this move was played, which is a further mistake. And now there is a forced checkmate. Nice checkmate after these moves. Check. Very easy. And rook here, it's not even winning the queen. It is checkmate. So this is what can happen if white is not careful, black is not careful. So now the tough guys are playing, Igor Miladinovic with the white pieces and me with the black pieces. His rating is 2519. My rating is 2591. My rating is close to 2600. This game was played in the distant 2001 when everything and everybody were completely different, and even chess. So let's see what happened. Only this plan was the same. He played here. I didn't play d5 because I didn't know it was so good back then. I played e6. Now white can play e4, and this would take the game to a pure Trombovsky opening. He played e3, and after c5, he played c3, and I took here. He cannot take with a c pawn because queen a5 check is winning the bishop. He was not even intending to take with a c pawn. He takes like this. I played bishop e7. He played this. d6. I am asking him to show his intentions because now I want to play knight bd7. So he takes on f6 immediately. And now I know one thing. I will postpone castling. I will delay castling. So I took with the bishop. He played here. And bishop e7. This is my favorite move in chess. One of my favorite moves is taking the bishop from f6 back to e7. Since I was a child. If you ask me why, I don't know. So bishop d3. I played knight d7. Our plan is to play as many moves as possible before castling short. Of course, this is if he castles long. He played here. If, for example, he castles short, then I castle short too with a wonderful position. This is a typical torre or London, where I even have the pair of bishops. Black stands very well. So knight bd7, he plays here. I played a6. I played this move because I want to see his intentions. If he castles long, you see, I play a clever move order. I won't play b6 and much later bishop b7 and b5. I will play b5 immediately. This was my idea, to win a tempo. He played h4. If he castles short, now I will change my plan, of course. I won't play b5. I will play here and b6 and bishop b7, as we know, with very good play for black, and castle short. Yes? So I play a6. I stay flexible. He played h4 and I played b5. Now I'm not really worried about his a4 move. I will capture it and a5. If I was playing today this game, I would have played knight f6. But then I played b5. He castles long. And I played queen c7 here and bishop b7. This is an unclear position with chances for both sides. But we see now that his attack with these pawns is not really going anywhere. My king is comparatively safe in the center. He played this. I need to be careful about some sacrifices on f7 or on h6. I played here. He played this. And after some serious calculation, I played h6. He went back. There are no sacrifices here. It's not enough that you want to sacrifice. Here, he cannot play bishop g6. I will play bishop d5 and I will win. So this is a standard game. It's not a blitz game. So he played here. I calculated a lot. I wanted to play for a win. I took this pawn on g2. Of course, there is compensation. I knew it. He played here, and rook g8. I'm protecting everything. I want to strengthen my position. At some moment, I want to go here. Now he has queen takes e6. So I was willing to defend for several moves. Bishop f6. I was willing to defend and play with my extra pawn. Indeed, I played some good moves. I managed to consolidate, to find counterplay. And later, I managed to win the game. He played some combinations, but I found this move. And here, after calculation, he resigned. So this is how to play against this dangerous system. And if you play the torre with the white pieces, I suggest that you play this system. Finally, let's check this game. Otherwise, our study would have been incomplete. So after d4, knight f6, here e6, here and c5, 99% of the cases they play e3. However, this gambit here, this is not the same as the Karpov blunder. The Karpov blunder is here and d5, which is not even a gambit. So this d5 is an interesting possibility. E takes d5 is playable, but the best move is check, after which white can play either bishop d2 or even c3. After bishop d2, we can play here with nice unclear play, as you will see in the analysis, or we can play here. This is another interesting possibility, and objectively, white should play here again with a draw. If he just takes here, we have a very comfortable position. We can take like this, or even here, I would have taken with the f-pawn to create some imbalance. So this is a nice playable position. After this check, we need to know a little bit of theory in this gambit. c3, knight takes, and e4. As you will see in the notes that I will prepare for you, this is a good move, and even this is a good move. So this is a very rare system that is playable for white. There is some compensation, and there is also good play for black. You will know the concrete moves when you receive the PGN. So those were my notes. Those were my analysis in the torre system and in the London system. I believe that by now we have very good knowledge in these two similar systems, and we can use these systems with black effectively in our games. So I would like to thank you for your participation, and I will see you soon in half an hour to study the last system. See you all in half an hour. Bye for now.